Senator from Ohio.
Thank you, and Michael Bennet, thank you for, when you said this is a new day, and I loved how you set that up. The mayor of Denver gives a tax cut, or at least pours money into the richest neighborhoods in Denver, expecting that to trickle down or trickle out and help other neighborhoods and other people. And it obviously doesn't work that way anymore than I was going to say the Bush tax cut, but it's been their playbook for years. Whenever they get in the majority to give a tax cut to rich people, argue it will trickle down. It never does. And Senator Booker has been so articulate about that. And as you say, Senator Bennet, it is a new day for this country. This is, I think the three of us think, and I think that Senator Hickenlooper, the presiding officer, has thought this, as most members of the Senate, that this is perhaps the most important thing we've done in this Senate in 25 years. Tomorrow, parents across the country should check their bank accounts. Not all of them are going to know what Cory Booker and Michael Bennet and all of us did, but they're going to see, most importantly, in many ways, and maybe my religious faith teaches me this, it's almost better that these people have they get these checks in Cleveland and Akron and Mansfield, and they have no idea how they got them. They didn't know I had anything to do with it as their senator. They just know their lives are better. Families will see $250 or $300 direct deposit in their accounts every month for the next 6 months. Then they get the rest of the year in lump sum. And then, as Senator Bennet and Senator Booker said, it's up to us to make this permanent. In my state, 92% of kids in this state are eligible. We've got the great majority, at least we think 90% of them, will see these checks this week, either in their bank account or in their mailbox. We've got to make sure we get the other children who are eligible that their parents may not have filed a tax return, and those families need to go to childtaxcredit.gov and make sure that they get this benefit. Even before this pandemic, we all know hard work wasn't paying off for millions of workers. Productivity, and we've seen in the last 20 years, productivity has gone up. Corporate profits have exploded. CEO pay has soared almost unimaginably, yet wages have essentially been flat. And that's gone on for decades, even though the cost of everything's up, especially the cost of raising children. And our child tax credit recognizes the fact that raising children is work. It happens to be the most, maybe it's not compensated the same way, but it happens to be the most important work that any family can do. But from child care to health insurance to transportation, we've seen a hard day's work doesn't begin to cover expenses for so many parents, and even middle-class families don't feel stable. As a result, 2 weeks ago, we were out of session, and I spent the week in Fremont, in Defiance, and Cleveland, and Columbus, and Dayton, and Cincinnati, and Youngstown, and Toledo, talking to people about the child tax credit. And the stories I heard from people, these were mostly parents who will benefit. These are some community activists whose kids may have been grown or don't have kids. But the stories I heard, things like, Senator Bennet and I did a discussion with people from Denver and Cleveland one day on Zoom a couple of weeks ago too, and we heard over and over that parents were saying, you know, we every month we just have to figure out during the last week of the month, how are we going to pay our rent? Now those families will have a little more comfort in knowing and less anxiety knowing they'll be able to meet their rent payment. I heard a number of parents say, well, now I can send my son for the first time to scout camp or to a day camp during the summer. And other parents said, you know, I don't have to choose between the food we need to buy and buying diapers. I don't have to reuse diapers. All the kinds of stories we heard. People were saying, I don't have to work that second job and be away at night. I can get daycare on my regular job and get the benefits and have a little money so that I can do these things. And the stories are as endless as the number, or limitless as the number of people that are involved. I heard, and maybe the best part of this, and Michael and Cory and I have talked about it, maybe the best part of this is, you know, we have SNAP benefits. We know that's important for hungry families. We know the hungry people and children especially. We do the rental assistance, emergency rental. We know how important that is. But these dollars, this $250 or $300 a month, it goes to families and they make the decision about what they need. I don't make it. The senior senator or the junior senator even though the junior senator's older, right, than the senior senator? I'm confused. But the senators from Colorado don't make the decision. The senator from New Jersey, I don't make the decision. These decisions are made by the mothers and fathers that go to their mailbox and get this check or see it in their direct payment. So we know that this is not just good for those families. It means dollars in their pockets. It means they can make decisions they couldn't have made. It means they can build the foundation for their own children to have more opportunity. All of that. But this is also really good for the community. It means more dollars are spent at local restaurants. More dollars are spent at local stores. So that's an important part of this, too, that it will help to lift up our economy. Families aren't putting this money in a Swiss bank account, unlike the tax cuts that Senator Bennett talked about when the Trump tax cuts that every Republican supported virtually and blew a hole in the budget, and that money was put in Swiss bank accounts. This doesn't trickle down. This money is spent in the community. This is how we grow the economy. This is how we invest in the people who make it work. We don't shovel tax cuts to the very top and hope it trickles down. We know it never does. With these tax credits, we show parents and workers we're on your side. We won't stop fighting, Mr. President, until these tax credits are permanent. Senators Booker and Bennett have talked passionately and persuasively about that. I would add a couple other thanks here. Two of my staff are sitting in the back of this hall, Katie Mulhall and Chad Bold, who have made this tax, working with Senator Bennett's and Senator Booker's and Senator Warnock's staff in making these tax cuts to reduce the poverty rate and making this happen this session with President Biden's active support. I also would call out two staff people, one still in the office, one who is now working in the House of Representatives, Jeremy Heckheis and Gideon Bragan, who began work on this in 2013 when we first started working with Rosa DeLore and the work that she had done. So I thank all of them for making this happen. I especially thank my colleagues from Colorado and Georgia and New Jersey. We keep fighting to give these families a peace of mind that these tax credits will be there for them up until their children are 18, so they can raise their kids with a little less anxiety and a little more comfort and a whole lot more opportunity. I yield the floor.